Hi, in this video I'm going to be going over how to use the multiplication facts that you do know to work out the answers to multiplication facts that you don't know. So we're going to use the 4 times table because you probably know most of it already, and that's going to help us understand the examples that I'll be going through. So here's 1 times 4. That's the same as 4 times 1. And here's 2 times 4. And that's the same as 4 times 2. That's quite useful, because if you knew the answer to 4 times 2 but you weren't really sure what the answer to 2 times 4 was, well, you can just tell yourself 4 lots of 2 is the same as 2 lots of 4. 3 lots of 4 is the same as 4 lots of 3. Look at that, it's the same. Ta-da! Okay, 4 lots of 4 is the same as 4 lots of 4. Whichever way you look at it, 4 lots of 4 is the same. What about 5 lots of 4? That is the same as 4 lots of 5. So if you know the answer to 4 lots of 5, you can use that to help you work out the answer to 5 lots of 4. Genius. And one more of these. If you know what, or if you don't know what 10 lots of 4 is, but you do know what 4 lots of 10 is, hopefully you do know though, you can just simply switch the numbers round in multiplication and you get the same answer. So 0 times 4, 1 times 4, 2 times 4, 3 times 4. If you're not sure about any of those, well, good news, they're the same as the other way around, and you might know some of those. That is known as the commutative property of multiplication. When you can do 2 times 4 and get the same answer as 4 times 2, for example, that would be the commutative property in action. Works the same for addition as well, by the way. And if you click on the link that's just appeared on the screen, that will take you to another page to find out more information about the commutative property. Okay, let's start again with 1 times 4. Now that's so easy, of course it's 4. So I'll put the answer in there. If 1 times 4 is 4, then no lots of 4 is 0. Nothing. Gone. 0. Some people forget that, and they think that 0 times the number gives you 1 or gives you the number itself. But it's simply 0. 0 times 4, nothing, lots of 4. 4 lots of nothing, of course it's just nothing. Right. Using facts that you do know. If you know that 1 times 4 is 4, then 2 lots of 4 is just going to be an extra 4, right? Really easy. 2 lots of 4 is 8. Now how could that help you with other numbers? If you know that 1 lot of 17 is 17, then double it. 2 lots of 17 will give you the answer to 2 times 17, or 17 times 2. Okay, if we know, we should know our 10 times table, right? We've just been through that one. So that gives you 40. That's not a difficult one. Good, well we can use the ones we've just got here already, these 4 very simple facts, to help us work out most of the rest. There's 2 lots of 4 again, which we said was 8. How can we use 2 times 4 equals 8 to help us work out what 4 times 4 is? Easy. Double that, of course. That's 4 lots of 4. Look, there we go, 4 lots of 4. And the answer to 4 lots of 4 is 16. Okay, and how can we use that to work out what 8 lots of 4 is? Well, here's 1 lot of 4. That gives you 2 lots of 4. That gives you 4 lots of 4. And if I double all of that, I get 8 lots of 4. So what did we say the answer to this was? 16. We can use that answer to help us work out what 8 times 4 is. It's going to be 2 lots of 16, which is 32. There we go. Okay, you see how we're using certain multiplication facts that we do know to help us work out the others? It's very useful. Let's go back to 2 lots of 4. We can do a lot with that. We can use it to help us work out what 3 lots of 4 is. We know this one is 8. We've got 1 lot of 4, 1 extra lot of 4 when we have 3 lots of 4. So just add that on. What's it going to be? 12. Easy. And if we know that 3 lots of 4 is 12, how can we use that to help us work out what 6 lots of 4 is? How can we use 3 times 4 equals 12 to help us work out what 6 times 4 is? Well, presumably we're going to need another 3 lots of 4. In fact, we could just double the answer to this. And that will give us the answer to this. Great. We said that 3 times 4 is 12. Double it will give you 6 times 4, 24. Fantastic. Now then, what about 5 lots of 4? There's different ways to go about working out what 5 lots of 4 is. This is one of my favourites. Here is 10 lots of 4. How can we use that to help us work out what 5 lots of 4 is? Easy. Half it. Why? Because half of 10 is 5. So half your answer to 10 times 4 and you get the answer to 5 times 4. And what's that? 20. Another way we could have done it was to take our answer to 4 times 4, which we said was 16, and add on an extra 4. 20. Or take our answer to 6 times 4 and take away a 4. Still gets you back to 20, whichever way you do it. And that's one of the neat things about maths. Okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to have a go at doing 7 times 4. So here's 5 times 4. And we know that the answer to that is 20. How can we use that to help us work out what 7 lots of 4 is? Just add 2 lots of 4 on and that will give us 7 lots of 4. Or we can work out what 6 lots of 4 is and add on an extra 4. Whichever way you do it, you'll get the answer to 7 times 4, which is 28. Okay, you can see this is filling up, and all we've really worked out is what 2 lots of that number was and what 10 lots of that number is. And now that's going to come in really useful, knowing 10 lots of a particular number. Here is 10 times 4 again. We can use that to help us work out what 9 times 4 is. There it is. You see what I did? I just took away a 4. And the answer was 36. I can also use it to help us work out what 11 times 4 is. There you go. Just add an extra 4. And in fact, I can also use it to help us work out what 12 times 4 is by adding yet another 4. So take 10 times 4 and then add 2 lots of 4 on. You'll get the answer to 12 times 4. Okay, easy. Let me show you a couple more things, a couple more ways that you can use some of these facts. If you know what 4 times 4 is, here it is, 16, how can that help you work out what 12 times 4 is? Well, you've got 4 4s there. You'll need another lot of those 4 4s and another lot of those 4 4s to make 12 4s. That altogether is 12 4s. So you take the answer to this, which was 16, and times it by 3, 48. How about 3 times 4? How do you use that to work out the answer to 9 times 4? Well, you need another 3 times 4 to give you 6 times 4, and then another 3 times 4 to give you 9 times 4. There we go, there's 9 times 4. So use your answer to 3 times 4, which is 12, and then times that by 3 to give you your answer to 9 times 4, 36. It works. Look, 12 times 3 is 36. Fantastic. So there's an example of using one number fact to help you work out the answer to another number fact. I'm going to put this down here to help you remember what we've done. And I'll pause the video so that you can make a note of this if you wish. It's going to be paused for 20 seconds, but you can always pause it for longer if you want to. Okay, we're back. Let's do a quick check of what you've understood so far. If we know the answer to this, 2 times 4, which is 8, how can we use that to help us work out the answer? How do you get the answer to 6 times 4? If you know that 2 times 4 is 8, how can you work out what 6 times 4 is? So here's 2 times 4. And you want to work out what 6 times 4 is. So all you need to do is times your answer to 2 times 4 by 3. And what do you get? 24. Okay. What about if you know the answer to 10 times 4? And how can you use that to help you work out the answer to 5 times 4? So here's 10 times 4. 40. How can you use that to help you work out what 5 times 4 is? You can half it. There you go, there's 5 times 4, so it's going to be half of 40, which is 20. Good. So, if you found that quite straightforward, you'll find the questions below the video, no problem. And I'm going to give you an option here now of stopping the video and answering the questions below, and that will be fine. I'm going to move on to something just a little bit harder, and this is optional for you to continue watching. Okay, it's optional. If you want to pause the video and answer the questions below, that's fine. There won't be any problem with that. But if you do want to carry on watching, I'm just going to show you how to use one number fact to help you work out some slightly harder ones. So 6 times 5. We all know that that's 30. Partly because we know our 6 times table, partly because we know our 5 times table. It's 30. How can we use that to help us work out some harder things, such as 0.6 times 5, or 6 times 0.5, or 0.6 times 0.5? Interesting, huh? Okay, well, let's have a quick look. In this question, we've made this 6 10 times smaller to give you 0.6. We're still timesing it by 5, so that means our answer is just going to be 10 times smaller than this. 3. Okay, what about this one? We've kept the 6 the same, and 0.5, that looks a lot like 5, but it's just 10 times smaller. So the answer is going to be 10 times smaller as well. 0.6 times 0.5. So I'm thinking in my head, what times table facts do I already know that are going to help me work this out? Oh yeah, of course. 6 times 5 is 30. That's going to help me. Make this 10 times smaller. Make this 10 times smaller. Now you're going to have to make this 10 times smaller and then 10 times smaller again. Can you do that? Make it 10 times smaller and then make it 10 times smaller again. 0.3. Well, that's quite interesting. So we made that 10 times smaller, made that 10 times smaller, made the answer 100 times smaller, in fact. Now this could be useful for division in particular. If you're given a question like, what's 3 divided by 5? Again, think of your multiplication facts. What would it be if it was 30 divided by 5? It would be 6. Well, 3 divided by 5 is not going to be 6. It's going to be 10 times smaller than that. It's going to be 0.6. Use this multiplication fact in reverse. Use the division, the associated division fact. You can do it here as well. 3 divided by 0.5 gives you 6. Okay, so that was when we made some of the numbers 10 times smaller. What about if we made some of the numbers 10 times bigger? So 60 times 5, or 6 times 50, or even 60 times 50. You probably know this one, you've seen this before. Made that 10 times bigger to give you 60, it's going to give you an answer that's 10 times bigger. make this 10 times bigger to give you 50, it's going to make this answer 10 times bigger. If we've made this 10 times bigger than that, and that 10 times bigger than that, you're actually going to get an answer that is 10 times 10 times bigger. 3,000. Alright, so we've looked at making numbers 10 times smaller and working out the answer from a known fact. We looked at making the numbers 10 times bigger from a known number fact. What about if we did things like halving that number? 3 times 5. We would get half of this. 15. But you already knew that. You know 3 times 5. But it might be useful when we come on to harder numbers. Okay, so you can half that. What about if you half this one? So we'll keep this the same. 6 times 2.5. What does that give you? 15. We've just halved it. There you go. So this is an example of taking one known number fact and using it to help you work out the answers to other facts. And that is one of the beautiful and most powerful things about maths. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.